In today's video, I want to talk to you about what happens after you get pre-approved and you get your offer accepted. Initially, you went through the process of providing your income documents, running your credit, making sure your ratios work, verifying that you have enough assets to qualify. That's how you got that pre-approval letter. But then what happens after the fact? Once you actually submit your offer and it gets accepted, this is the premise of this video. This is what I want to discuss with you guys today, okay? So if you're trying to capture that information, you're watching the right video. My name is Zevi and I'm an owner of a company called Lonebrook Inc. It's a wholesale mortgage company in Woodland Hills, California, in Los Angeles, all right? So with that, let's get started. Let's talk about what happens after you get your offer accepted. Ready? Let's do it. All right, so number one, you were out there shopping, right? You're shopping with your pre-approval letter. And you got your offer accepted. All right, so now you've done exactly what you were trying to do. Step number two is you notify your lender and you let them know right away that you now have the offer accepted. And the reason is because the offer is time sensitive. There's a certain amount of days within the contract to perform. So as soon as the offer is accepted, you want to make sure and you notify your lender so they can get started. First step for us is to reach out to Escrow and title and to request the lender's package. Now we also want the listing agent, the realtor, we want their information as well. Let me tell you specifically what we're looking for so you understand the mind frame. The listing agent is going to be the point of contact when we order the appraisal. That's why we need their information. It's also great to have your real estate agent's information so we can communicate with them if we need any documents. For escrow and title, we need the fees. So basically what happens is, next, I am a wholesale mortgage broker, which means that I have the ability to work with multiple banks. I act very much as an arm of the bank, as if I am a part of that bank, a part of that fund. And so the advantage that I have is that if it doesn't fit with one lender, I can actually go to different ones and place the loan. Whereas a direct lender, who's also great, but only works within their company. No matter whom you're working with, make sure to let them know so they can get the fees from escrow and title. What are the fees exactly? We have to disclose to you via something called a lender's estimate, all right? So oftentimes when you're shopping for a loan and, you know, if somebody's trying to get you a better deal, what they'll do is they'll ask you for the lender's estimate because that actually itemizes all the fees in the transaction. Now, mind you, and this is important to know, even though those fees are not necessarily coming from us, we still have to disclose them to you. And if we disclose them incorrectly, then we have to pay for the difference. So oftentimes you're going to see a lender's estimate, which is called an LE, over disclosed simply because, like I said, you can always lower the fees, but you can't higher the fees. That's how it is. All right. So next step in the process, we're asking escrow to give us an estimate. Okay, the estimate of the fees, because we want to disclose them to you. Now, in addition to this, there is the lender's package, which involves a bunch of other documents, none of which really things that you're gonna care about. Things such as fully executed purchase agreement, preliminary title report, escrow instructions, insurance vesting, wire instructions, EMD, which is the earnest money deposit, closing protection letter, insurance, different things. We do need all these documents because the lender is going to require them. But as far as you're concerned, to get the ball rolling, we do want the estimate. Let's move on. Step number 3 in the process is we disclose. So once we have the fees, we go ahead and disclose the file to you, all right? Now, there's a couple of things that are going to happen here. Number one, you're going to get an email saying that you acknowledge to e-sign electronically. All right, so once you acknowledge that, then you can go ahead and move on to the actual disclosures. I want you to know something. In the lending process, typically the only binding documents are the ones that you sign with a notary, your loan documents. So basically everything else that you see here, the reason I said that, you're gonna get a stack of documents to e-sign. It's basically not you necessarily agreeing to everything, but merely acknowledging that you've seen it, okay? Because these documents are e-disclosures for the lender, and the lender needs to be compliant because compliance is a huge thing in lending, all right? So until, again, you sign your loan documents with a notary and your thumbprint, up until that point, most of these documents, they just cycle. And the reason I say that is because everything is time sensitive, and I will explain more about this as we move forward, all right? So disclosing, we disclose the file to. There's two specific documents that we're looking for in here. We're looking for the lender's estimate. It's called the LE, okay, which is, again, lender's estimate. All right, that's number one. And then we're looking for the intent to proceed. The reason I say that is because there's two documents that you actually, well, there's two things that you actually pay for outside the transaction, and that's your credit and your appraisal report. And the reason is these are third-party vendors. They don't really care if you close your transaction or not. They're providing a service to you, all right? And they do want to get paid for providing that service to you. So as an example, when we run your credit, we could use your credit card because it's a third-party vendor that issues the report for us to be able to load your liabilities. Same thing for the appraisal report, right? We request an appraisal report, an appraiser goes out there, provides a service to you, and then for that, of course, we have to pay them. Whether the transaction closes or not, they don't really care. And the reason I say that is because until the lender's estimate is acknowledged and the intent to proceed as well, we cannot move forward in the transaction and order your appraisal. Now, it's debatable because the broker can actually do it on their own credit card. However, those are the two things that are charged to the borrower, and for us to be able to move forward with it, we do have to have you acknowledge both of these documents, all right? Those are the two important documents. Next thing on the list is we order the appraisal. All right, we ordered the appraisal. Now, this listing agent gets notified, again, time sensitive, because they are going to be, the realtor always going to be down our throat about, hey, did you order the appraisal? Did you order the appraisal? So it's very important to know that once we disclose, you need to get in there ASAP and acknowledge your disclosures so these things can get out of the way and we can in fact open this door for you to order your appraisal. All right? So hopefully you understand this process thus far. Next on our list is we take all the documents, well, I apologize, all the documents that you've provided. All right, so that was, I'm going to go number 6, I believe, right? Yep. Okay, so we take all the documents, all the docs that you've provided for that pre-approval, and we may need to update some of these documents. And then what we do is we load everything in so we can get a credit decision. What do I mean by that? Well, what happens here is after the disclosures went out, you acknowledged them. We can go ahead and order your appraisal. What we want to do is we want to load all your documents so they can be routed to the underwriter. All right, and the underwriter is going to be issuing a credit decision. So basically, docs loaded, it's called UW for an underwriting decision. All right, now typically on a purchase, and in today's dates, we are in 2024, and right now we're in June. So turn times are not going to be, they're not going to be more than anywhere between 24 to 72 hours max. All right, so say 1 to 3 days to get a credit decision. And so we get a credit decision, and hopefully that credit decision is a conditional approval. All right, so we get a conditional approval, and that means that based on the documents that were provided, everything lines up and the lender likes the deal. They've conditionally approved the deal subject to some pending conditions. Now, depending on how thorough you were with your documents and the homework that you've done up front, and this is a combination of you and the lender that you're working with, will determine what this section over here looks like, all right, in terms of conditions. Now, I don't want to drag this video much longer, so I just wanted to paint the picture for you as to what happens from the time you get that pre-approval to you getting that offer accepted, all right, to getting in touch with Escrow and Title, getting the fees, and then disclosing them to you. And then once everything gets disclosed, you go ahead and acknowledge the lender's estimate and the intent to proceed. We load your documents for an underwriting decision. We get a credit decision, and what we're looking for is a conditionally approved loan, all right? So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If you're trying to get approved and you're trying to go through this journey, whether you already have a pre-approval on hand, whether you're looking for a lender, whatever the case may be, I'm happy to help you, all right? My number is 818-697-8220, all right? So just give me a call. I'll walk through the transaction with you, see whatever we can do for you. Make sure that you're qualified before you get into this piece of the puzzle, because as you can see, once you get into this, things start moving really quickly, and we basically are taking the work that we've done up front initially with that pre-approval, and we're basically submitting it to the underwriter for a credit decision, and all they're really doing is just checking the box and saying, yeah, that's right, the work that has been done initially is actually accurate, this file is actually approved, give me these other few conditions, and we'll get you to the finish line, all right? So with that, I appreciate you guys being here. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. This way you get a little push from the algorithm, and other people such as yourself looking for this information can see it. If you like videos like this, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, again, thank you, and I'll see you again on the next video. Take care.